Solar and Wind Energy, a presentation by Molly Green for NSCU 304 at Brandman University. Almost every form of energy on Earth is derived from the sun. Yes, even those pesky fossil fuels. Either directly or indirectly, the sun is responsible for producing almost all of the energy that supports life on Earth. All of the food and fuel we use on Earth relies on plant energy that wouldn't exist without solar energy. The exception is chemosynthetic organisms that rely on chemical energy rather than the sun. Somewhat ironically, natural solar energy is even responsible for the fossil fuels that are rapidly contributing to the increase in global warming. Fossil fuels like coal, oil, and gas are essentially the fossilized remains of past organisms. It was solar energy that provided fuel to those organisms via photosynthesis. Hydroelectric power also comes to us courtesy of our favorite fireball in the sky. The hydrologic cycle depends on solar energy to evaporate water from the Earth's surface so that it can form condensation in the atmosphere and then be returned to us via rain or snow, which in turn collects in our bodies of water and generates the current that turns the turbines that produces hydroelectric power. How's that for a run-on sentence? This is a picture of the Kern River in California, which has been a source of hydroelectric power since 1920. Really though, when we talk about solar energy, we must mostly tend to think about it as a clean source of power for the world. 430 quintillion joules of energy from the sun make it to the surface of the Earth each hour. The total amount of energy used worldwide in a year is 410 quintillion joules. The sun's energy is plentiful, 100% clean, and available to the entire planet. The problem with relying on solar energy to power the electrical devices of the world is capturing and storing enough of that energy to make it worthwhile. There are several different ways to harness the power of the sun for our electrical needs. We're most familiar with the photovoltaic solar panels that we see on rooftops all over, but solar panels aren't the only option. The Ivanpah solar plant in California is the largest thermal solar plant in the world. It uses mirrors, called heliostats, to reflect the sun's energy toward a tower housing a solar receiver. The receiver is used to heat water to generate steam to turn a turbine. This methodology is similar to fossil fuel-based power plants in the sense that the steam propels a turbine, but it's much cleaner and more sustainable. As I'm creating this presentation, Los Angeles is under a high wind warning, and the wind is making a mess of my previously immaculate backyard while my roof is pummeled by fronds from the neighbor's palm tree. It's no surprise at all that a force that can tear roofs off of houses and uproot ancient trees could be a source of energy. So let's first talk about the plus sides to wind energy. Wind energy is considered clean because it doesn't pollute the air or create waste that needs to be cleaned up like fossil fuel and nuclear power plants do. Wind energy from turbines does not contribute any greenhouse gases to the atmosphere and doesn't lead to acid rain. Wind is caused by uneven warming of the Earth's surface. So wind energy is considered renewable because as long as the sun heats the surface of the Earth, there will be wind. Scientists say that the sun will be around for another 5 billion-ish years, so as long as they're even vaguely in the right ballpark, we're probably safe to rely on wind. The fact that it is an abundant natural resource means that wind energy is free, sort of. Obviously, there are material costs and labor associated with wind energy, but we're not drilling, excavating, or hauling materials, and wind energy would never necessitate largely ineffective billion-dollar ocean cleanup efforts the way oil does. No energy source is without its downsides, and wind energy is no exception. There's been a lot of concern for the safety of birds in areas near wind farms, but the National Audubon Society actually supports the implementation of wind energy. It's true that windmills can cause disruption to the habitats of birds, but the effects can be minimized by proper planning and survey before windmills are put up. Both the Audubon Society and supporting research prove that investing in clean wind energy is necessary to combat the impact of global warming, which will ultimately cause far more harm to our planet's birds and their habitats than responsible installations of wind farms. The most widely voiced criticism of wind energy is the sound generated by the windmills. Consider that a marching band will average around 90 to 100 decibels. Windmills aren't placed less than 300 meters from a home, and when measured from a distance of 300 meters, the sound a windmill generates is only about 43 decibels. The average air conditioner is 50. A refrigerator is about 40. Cleaner, cheaper wind energy could power both your fridge and your AC, and you wouldn't hear it over their already present hum. Wind energy is also intermittent. Steady wind cannot be guaranteed 24/7 at any site, and the stop-go nature of wind means that it can't be relied upon as a sole energy source. Speaking of downsides for windmill-produced energy, in a 2019 speech, President Trump informed the world that the noise from windmills causes cancer. The scientific community who has actively studied both the health and environmental impact of windmills does not agree. Cancer is not a proven side effect of wind energy. It's time to ditch fossil fuels and go all in on clean energy sources. We know better, so now it's time to do better.